Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Plant Fanatics. Today I'm going to be showing you how to propagate goji berries from cuttings, so stay tuned. Goji berries from cuttings, you're only going to need a couple of things. The first thing that you're going to need is a good soil medium. I tend to use just a regular Miracle-Gro potting mix. When I go for the cheaper stuff, it always ends up causing problems, whether it be fungus or it gets a lot of fungus gnats. So I just go for a little more expensive stuff, and believe me, it's going to be worth it in the end. The next thing that you're going to need is just some sort of container. I use these party cups because they're cheap and they work really well as a propagating container. You're going to want to make sure, no matter what container you're using, that you drill a little hole in the bottom or maybe a couple of holes. And that's just going to ensure good drainage, which is very important when we're doing any kinds of cuttings. And then you're going to need a rooting hormone. I use this Garden Safe Take Root rooting hormone. This is a powdered form. I got it at, I believe it's Lowe's. They sell it at Home Depot as well. And if you can get your hands on a liquid rooting hormone, that will work just as well. And last but not least, you're going to need a goji berry cutting. You're going to want to make sure that it's a decent sized cutting. And if you get close here, you'll actually be able to see that right around these areas, right where the thorns are, there's a lot of nodes, which are going to become buds where new growth is going to come out of. Just make sure you get a decent amount of those. And also make sure that when you take these cuttings, you remember which end is up and which end is down. It can be a little bit difficult to tell with these goji berry cuttings because the buds are kind of sporadic. They're not going to be in the same place all the time. So without further ado, let's get into this. The first thing that you're going to want to do is just fill your container with your soil medium and fill it up till it's almost at the top. When we water this, we don't want it to overflow on the sides, so just put a good amount in there and then kind of press it down just a little bit, not too much. Then we're just going to take this rooting hormone, get that opened, take our cutting, remembering which end is up, which end is down, stick the part that's going to go in the soil into this rooting hormone, just wiggle it around a little bit, tap it on the sides. And then you don't have to get way too much on there, and you don't really need to worry about it too much. Just stick it in there, wiggle it around, and then all you got to do, stick it down in there as far as it'll go, with still leaving these buds on the top. And then that's all there is to it. Then all you need to do is just water this in a little bit. Remember guys, we don't need a lot of water. We want lightly moist soil. That's going to be very important. And then if you want, you can put a bag over the top of this with a rubber band to keep humidity in there. Humidity is going to be really important if any of these buds start opening up. If you're in low humidity and these buds open up and there's no roots down here yet, it's going to cause those leaves to basically dry up and fall off. And so we don't want that. So we want to mimic a greenhouse effect. So put those bags on top with a rubber band. It's not necessary, but I recommend it. And then put this in an area that's out of full sunlight. You could have bright indirect sunlight. And then in not very long, I'll show you what you can have. So these are some cuttings that I just stuck into a bigger container. So you can do a bunch of cuttings in one container if you get a bigger container. And these have probably been in here for about a month. And as you can see, it's got a bunch of new growth going on right now. And let me go ahead and pick this up, and we'll see if we can show you guys what's happening at the bottom here. I don't know if you can tell, but all of these little white squiggly lines in here, those are all going to be roots that are developing. So it doesn't take very long. That, like I said, that's been about a month. And in this particular case, we did this in a bigger container. And if you're doing it that way, you're going to want to separate these out. So just take them out of the soil lightly once you see those roots developing. Take them out easily. And then do the same thing that I showed you here. And just repot them carefully. Make sure you don't disturb those roots. And that's really all there is to it. It's very simple. If you guys have any questions about this process, leave them down in the comments. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, give this video a like and share it with any of your friends who you think might be interested in this. Thanks so much for watching the video, guys.